Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept, Hare Krishna dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to His Holiness Chandramali Swami's daily call. Thank you so much for joining, and I wish you all a very happy. And today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Sukhavaha Mataji to enlighten us from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, the passing away of Bhishma Deva, verse 11. Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving your association with us today. And thank you. We are really looking forward to hear from you. Hare Krishna. I will share and I will please take over, Mataji. So let me share the verse. Mataji is a voice.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
I think Revati Mataji is frozen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please continue, Mataji. Yeah.
Now you can share. Please take over, Mataji. I think my voice is not. Let me share.
Yeah, I think your internet is unstable, Mataji. That's why.
Oh,
Mataji, do you want me to share the screen? I am happy to do that.
I
Okay.
already. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. First of all, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for giving me this chance, and please bless me so that I can say something on Srimad Bhagavatam, which is I'm not qualified for. It's just Guru Maharaj's mercy that he's giving us this chance, and I'm just praying to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada for giving me the strength to say something. So today we are going to discuss about Canto 1, Chapter 9 and verse 11, which goes like Panduputran upasinan prashya prema sanatana anuraga shrir andibhutena chakshusam. Word to word meaning is Pandu, the late father of Maharaja Yudhishthira and his brothers, Putran, the sons of Upasina, sitting silently nearby, Prasraya, being overtaken, Prema, in feeling of love, Sangatan, having gathered, Abhyashasta, congratulated, Anuraga, feelingly, Asreha, by tears of ecstasy, Andibhutena, overwhelmed, Chakshusa, with his eyes. Translation: the sons of Maharaja Pandu were sitting silently nearby, overtaken with affection for their dying grandfather. Seeing this, Bhishma Deva congratulated them with feeling. There were tears of ecstasy in his eyes, for he was overwhelmed by love and affection. Helped by his divine grace, Srila Prabhupada, when Maharaja Pandu died, his sons were all small children, and naturally they were brought up under the affection of elderly members of the royal family, specifically by Bhishma Deva. Later on, when the Pandavas were grown up, they were cheated by cunning Duryodhana and company. And Bhishma Deva, although he knew that the Pandavas were innocent and were unnecessarily put into trouble, could not take the side of the Pandavas for political reasons. At the last stage of his life, when Bhishma Deva saw his most exalted grandsons, headed by Maharaja Yudhishthira, sitting very gently at his side, the great warrior grandfather could not check his loving tears, which were automatically flowing from his eyes. He remembered the great tribulations suffered by his most pious grandsons, and certainly he was the most satisfied man because of Yudhishthira being enthroned in place of Duryodhana, and thus he began to congratulate him. Sorry, 1 second. So let's say the prayers first. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Vena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Vitapadakamalam Shri Guru Vishwa Nasancha Sri Rupa Sakshatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaita Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhupa Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so in this verse, it shows that Yudhishthir is really distressed, and we have learned that as well in the previous verses, that he was feeling very guilty, very remorse about whatever happened during this war, and it was very difficult for anyone to give consolation to him that it was not his fault. Basically, he was thinking that because of his greed for the kingdom, he caused this distress, basically, but which was not actually right. We all know, if we have the background of Mahabharata, we know that why this war was caused, basically. So Bhishmadev was actually the righteous king for the throne, but he gave away his throne because of his father's happiness. Father wanted to marry Queen Satyavati, so he gave up the throne for the children of Maharaja Shantanu and Satyavati. When they got married, they had 2 children, Chitraganda and Vichitravirya. Both of them died without any children. So it was to continue the kingdom and the king thing. Satyavati requested Vyasadev to father the children with the widows of Vichitravirya by Neti Yoga. And they had two children, Dhritarashtra and Pandu. So Dhritarashtra born blind, and Pandu had health issues. So basically, Pandu had curse in the previously because he killed a deer who was actually a yogi and wanted to enjoy the conjugal love with his wife, which he couldn't do in the human body. So he had transformed himself into a form of a deer, and Pandu killed that deer. And so once the once the arrow shot into the deer came into the human form and cursed Pandu, saying that if, like the way you killed me while I was enjoying with my wife, if you have any conjugal love with your wife, you will be killed. So unfortunately, Pandu dies because of that as well. But he has five children: Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakul, and Sahadev. Yudhishthira was the first among the Kurus. Then born Duryodhana. Dhritarashtra had 100 children, and Duryodhana was one of the eldest one out of them. But actually, the Yudhishthira was the eldest son. After Pandu's death, Dhritarashtra was king, and the reason Dhritarashtra, being eldest brother, could not become the king was because he was blind. And that anger, hatred, jealousy, and greed was there in Dhritarashtra's mind all the way through, which has taken place as a bad quality seedlings in Duryodhana. And he grew up with that qualities, thinking, like Dhritarashtra was thinking that, oh, my son should become the king and not Pandu's son Yudhishthira. So he just kept on encouraging Duryodhana in these bad qualities so that Duryodhana does not give away his kingdom. And that has created, that was the actual reason of this war, because Duryodhana said that I'm not going to give Pandavas land can be seen through a hole of a needle. And officially, Pandavas were the right, Yudhishthira was the righteous king because he was the elder brother. So they only asked few villages from Duryodhana, but he did not give him few villages as well. But instead of that, he caused so much of suffering for them. He put them into Shalak house, burnt it. He took away their kingdom, which they had it by cheating in gambling. He disrobed Draupadi, which was really bad. And then at the end, they had to have the war if they wanted the kingdom. And which was actually, the war was actually Krishna's plan as well, to take over from the irreligious personality, the kingdom from the irreligious personality, and give it to Yudhishthira, who was actually the religion personified. He was, his father was religion himself. So Yudhishthira was the fit for kingdom, and the war was necessary to take away the kingdom from greed of Duryodhana. So it was very necessary to make Yudhishthira understand that it was not his fault of this war, and he should not be guilty. He should be ruling the kingdom with following the religious principle, which is actually needed. And this could have been done by Krishna, basically, you know, because Krishna lives in, as Guru Maharaj was explaining, Krishna lives in everyone's heart. And if he wishes, Krishna can explain anything and reveal the knowledge to anyone. He could have done with Yudhishthira Maharaj very easily. It was not difficult for Krishna to do it, but Krishna always gives credit to his devotees. We know that. So that's why Krishna brings Yudhishthira Maharaj and Pandavas to Bhishmadev, who was actually a great devotee, who had all the good qualities of pure devotee. He did not have greed, no envy, no anger. Although Arjuna pierced so many arrows, he was on the bed of arrows, that many arrows he was having in his body, but he did not have any grudges against Pandavas. He was very happy, actually internally very happy, because Yudhishthira Maharaj became king. And that quality, to have that quality, is really, really only pure devotees can have it. Like somebody fighting against you in the battlefield tries to kill you, and still you are very happy for them, for their victory. Is it possible for us, Lord? I don't think so. So the Bhishmadeva had that quality. He was one of the best of 8 Vasus. He was Mahajan. And his life, if you see his life, he was always followed religious principles. He always used to follow Shastras. He always used to listen to Vidura, who was actually a very, very clever and knowledgeable person of all the Shastras. So he knew, Vidura knew how to rule the kingdom as per the Shastras. So Bhishmadev used to follow his guidance, but Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana were not ready to do that. And that's the mind, you know, when your mind is so polluted, it's very difficult for you to understand that what is right, what is wrong. And that's what has happened with Duryodhana, because he had the envy and anger of his father, and B, he was brought up by very cunning personality, Shakuni, his uncle, who had the goal to destruct the Kuru dynasty in his mind. And that's why he was putting all these bad qualities in Duryodhana, so that eventually when Duryodhana grows up, he had a war, and this war was his dream, actually Shakuni's dream as well. So there are lots of personalities behind Kuru Kshetra war. But Yudhishthira Maharaj, because he was so compassionate, he was so caring, and when he saw this much destruction of his praja, which was all the loads of living entities who died in this battlefield, his heart was like bleeding, and he was feeling so bad, and he was blaming himself for this war. And it was really necessary to remove that guilt feeling from him. And Krishna thought about Bhishmadeva and to give the credit, because Bhishmadeva has never been glorified in Mahabharata as much, although he was a pure devotee basically. So Krishna, at the end of his life, wanted to give him all the credit. So he brought Yudhishthira Maharaj and all the Pandavas to him and give chance to Bhishmadeva to share his knowledge with Yudhishthira Maharaj, make him feel better, and make all the Pandavas feel better as well, so that they don't have that guilt feeling. They can rule the kingdom nicely. And he knew that Pandavas are not like Duryodhana. They are not going to entangle into the materialistic activities. They are going to rule the kingdom with the religious principles, which was at that stage necessary. So, and also another thing about the Bhishmadeva was he had a boon that he can only leave his body with his own wish. And that shows that his patience, his pain-bearing capacity, and not blaming anybody in the world for his suffering was so tremendous that, lying on the bed of arrow, it's not easy thing. He lied there throughout the war and did not leave the body until and unless he saw that Hastinapur was in the safe hand, was waiting for the auspicious time. He wanted to take darshan of Lord Krishna before he leave the body in his nice form, two-handed nice form, actually as Lord Krishna. And that's why that shows another good qualities of Bhishmadeva, that we, if we suffer a little bit, we say, why me? Why nobody else? In this material, something happens, then the why question comes into our mind straight away. Why am I suffering? Why is it happening to me only? Why is this? Why is that? But if we see these pure devotees, how much they've gone through the suffering, like Yudhishthira Maharaj, he had suffered so much. Pandavas suffered so much. Bhishmadeva and Kunti Maharani, they all suffered so much, but none of them ever blamed anyone or any situation. We can never see in anywhere it is mentioned that why are we suffering? Pandava saying that, or Kunti Maharani saying that, or Bhishmadeva saying that. So all these things we have to learn, when we read these shastras, they guide us how to live our life. We can control our mind. And it's the way we see the situation as well. Like a glass is half filled. We can say that, oh, at least we have got some water in the glass. And some people, most of the people in this material world, we can see that they always complain, oh, my glass is half full. I should have got fulfilled. Why is only my glass half filled? Or why is this? And why is that? And why is this? But we never try and train our mind in a way that mind will stop complaining, start accepting the situation, start accepting all these things as a Krishna's plan, and try and progress in our spiritual path using the situation given to us. Like Kunti Maharani, she was praying for the difficulties so that she cannot move her attention from Krishna. Bhishma Deva, he never moved his attention from Krishna. He knew who Krishna was. There are only few people, as Guru Maharaj mentioned, that they knew who Krishna was actually. So Bhishma Deva was one of them. He knew this was all Krishna's plan. Everything happens because of Krishna's plan. So he never, when Arjun was shooting the arrows towards him using Shikhandi as an armor, he never complained about it. He accepted it. He accepted his death because he knew who Shikhandi was, basically. He knew why Arjun is doing that. And Krishna was right in front of him. So he knew all these things is Krishna's plan. So accepting the situation and making the most of it is something which we should be learning from these verses, basically. And then after, in the next verses, I think we will learn that how Bhishma Deva comforts Yudhishthira, and how does Yudhishthira Maharaj come up from his grief. Also, when the Pandavas and Krishna comes to see Bhishma Deva, they were not alone. There were loads of other rishis and Devi Devatas, and them were there as well. And Bhishma Deva was in such a bad state of physical situation that he could not get up and greet everybody. But because he was great Mahajan, he knew how to greet the people with his sweet words. So when he sees the Yudhishthira, first thing he does is congratulates him. He's so happy and in ecstasy. The tears of love comes out of his eyes, and that makes Yudhishthira feels a little bit better. Then he discusses about his sufferings and stuff, whatever Pandavas has gone through, which they did not deserve, basically. From the very beginning, he tries and tells Yudhishthira Maharaj that, listen, everything what you have been through, I knew, I understand, and you all did not deserve it. And I'm so glad that you fought this war against irreligious principles, and now you are the king. So he was really happy for them. And I was reading I was listening to actually the class of Amrendra Prabhu for mind, how to control the mind and how the pure devotees can focus only on Krishna, like Bhishma Deva, who is focusing all the time on Krishna. And, we've heard so many times that if we are not capable of thinking about Krishna, or we can't go and see Krishna at the time of departing this world, but if we have lived our life in the Krishna conscious activities and in following Krishna's principle, chanting his name, Krishna comes to give us the darshan at the end of our life. And that's what happened with Bhishma Deva. Krishna himself comes in front of him, so that Bhishma Deva can leave the world in meditating the form of Lord Krishna. So scriptures are so brilliant. They tells us everything. And in the class, Amrendra Prabhu was telling us that I think we all have heard this example that 5 horses, the rain, the driver and the passenger. So if we want to achieve the goal, what should we do? The 5 horses, the 5 senses of ours can be controlled if we, to the horses, we put the covering so that they can't see anywhere else. They just focus on one goal. This is what we can do to our senses, that not get attracted to the material stuff, which is in this Kali Yuga. Everybody says that just enjoy. Life is only once. We are not going to get another life. We only live once. Just enjoy whatever you want to do. But do we, will we get the happiness if we just enjoy, or let our senses go around everywhere? It's not possible, because that way we cannot go anywhere. We do get a little bit of happiness when we have some good food. It gives us a taste, but can we eat every time the same food? Will it make happy? No, because that's not the source of happiness. Whereas if we continue the devotional activity, if we help others in the spiritual life, be in the association of devotees, then definitely we get the happiness, which is amazing. So so many times the other materialistic people say that, oh, you devotees, you just controlling yourself everywhere. You don't do this, you don't do this, you don't do this. And that's not the way you should be living your life. If you are good, you should be able to control you should be able to achieve your goal. But can you achieve your goal if you don't try and practice? Yesterday, we went for the get-together. My nephew, he won gold medal in the Commonwealth Games. And I was just asking curiously, how did you manage to achieve the gold medals? 2 gold medals in a Commonwealth game. It's a great achievement. And the only thing he said that, Auntie, I just trained myself. I just controlled my mind, not doing other activities, focus on my goal. I wanted the gold medal. And with my training, I did it. And that made me think about the same thing we can do. Train our mind, focus on the goal, and just do whatever is necessary. And Srila Prabhupada has told us what to do. When you are chanting, just listen. Automatically, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that our heart will be purified as soon as we listen to the words of Krishna. Chanting will clean us up, clean our mind, gives the mind the strength. That mind is the driver of the senses. So it helps to purify the intelligence as well. So that whole thing can be achieved if we train ourselves. And for the training, there should be some discipline. And that's what we have to follow. We are not putting ourselves in the distress situations. In fact, we are getting away from the distress situation, which is caused by the senses who runs in all the ways, like 5 horses running in the different ways. How can you go to your destination? And how much distress will it cause to the passenger who's sitting in that chariot if 5 horses run in a different way? So best thing is, there should be some discipline. We should be following, so all the horses should move in the same directions. The mind should be controlling the senses to help the intelligence with the driver, and then the passenger soul can achieve the goal. So I think I'll stop here, because if I continue, I'll continue. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. And if you have any correction or comments, please correct me. I have just tried something, but I would like to hear some realizations, some comments from everyone.
Yes, yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the very, very beautiful class. So nicely you have summarized the pastime of Mahabharata, and how Bhishma Pita like why he has to give up his throne, and because for his father and mother, and so beautifully explained the qualities of Bhishma Pita and Yudhishthira Maharaj, how we have to be very compassionate and how we should not complain. Like Bhishma Pita, as you said, even though he was in his deathbed, he never complained. He accepted everything as Krishna's plan, and definitely we have to learn that. And also you mentioned like you have to control the mind and the senses. You explained so nicely about mind controls body. So you explained about like intelligence. You have to intelligence is like a driver. Mind, you have to control your mind, so we don't end up getting attached to the material things. And give example of your cousin, that is so nice. Always focus on the goal. So when we focus on the goal, we don't get diverted by other external things. Thank you so much for the very, very beautiful class, very instructive, and we learned so much. And I'll open up for the questions. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please, if you have any questions, comments, or realizations, you can unmute, or you can type in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, Scarlet Mataji, please go ahead. Mataji, we cannot hear you. Hare Krishna. Maybe you want to just try without your headphones. We cannot hear you, Mataji. Yeah, maybe you plug your headphones and try. Just yeah.
Could you hear me now?
Yes, yes. Now we can.
Okay. Do I start from the beginning, Don?
Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna to everyone. Please accept my obeisances, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to His Holiness Chandramuli, and all glories to you all. I don't have directly question. I just wonder of everything what I have studied and read and understand. It's for me, it's kind of difficult to compare our time, our situation with what was his
Bhishma Pitama.
Bhishma, yes. Because, for instance, with that time, people at that time, they were more exalted and than what we are. You know what I mean? We are like I am like nothing in comparison to them. They were exalted people. They know more than what I know, and they have more knowledge about everything, Shastra, everything. For instance, Bhishma, of what I understand, Bhishma has had very much pain and could not talk and could not help, but then Lord Krishna helped him, so he take away the pain. He lay there more than 50 days in this arrow, more than 50 days. I can't even have headache without just, you know what I mean, falling down and go in pieces. So it's difficult for me. I want to take it everything to my heart, to my head, and really, really, really want to learn very much and practice it. But when it comes to the comparing, think about that time, people in that time. For me, it's somehow difficult because I can't compare myself with exalted, very, very exalted people in that time. You know what I mean? So am I stupid to think this way or what?
No. So the way we discuss Shastras is just to understand that the qualities of the pure devotees, basically. So there are so many deep meanings still in these Shastras, which it is not time discuss that thing at the moment, basically. And I'm not qualified to discuss that. I've heard that there are loads of things behind this, like, piercing of the arrows, sleeping on the arrow bed. It's not the simple thing. There is loads of stuff behind that. So the like Guru Maharaj and them Lord can explain us more in details about that. But for us, Lord, what I feel and what I understand from these things and Shastras is basically what we have to do is focus on our goal, which is what everybody does that. In Shastras, they say that. Follow the religious principles of Shastras, study what Shastra says in the principle, basically. So, and it's not that difficult, Srila Prabhupada said, follow the 4 basic principles. No intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. All those, if we follow those principles, do our chanting, which cleans our mind and cleans our heart, which is so polluted. Why we are here? Because we are not pure at the moment. Our mind, our mind is so powerful. It's like a software, whatever impression of past we have is still there in our mind. And to remove that impression, it's the only thing which can help is chanting of the Hariname and living our life following the religious principles. Because if we still continue putting this material impression on our mind, the layers and layers of those material impressions will stay on our mind all the time, and it's really difficult to get rid of it. The only way we can get rid of it is stop putting more impression on it and then focus on chanting. So as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So if we continuously chant and listen to the holy name, the holy name purifies, because it's a pure name, Krishna himself. And when we are in the association of the holy name, our mind, our heart gets purified. It is it is a curve like this at the moment. We are going up the hill. It is not easy, definitely not easy, because we are going up the hill. But it's not difficult as well if we try. So if we keep our goal that and pray to Krishna that please help us to purify ourselves, please help us to focus on you, start loving you. And if we imagine, if we have only the impression of Krishna, if we have only the impression of Shastras in our mind, that will stay in our mind, isn't it? It won't go, because mind is a software. It does not distinguish between what impression we are putting. It only keeps that impression in us. So for me, some like I'm not as exalted soul as everyone else is, or I'm not a pure devotee as well. So many times something has happened in the childhood which has given me pleasure, and if I see the glimpses of that, for example, a movie, if you've seen a nice movie, and if you see a poster, or if you listen to the song or something, all the memories comes after 20 years also. Doesn't matter, does it? We don't forget that, because our mind has kept that thing in our, in as a proper safe in the storage. So all these storage stays. So if we start putting the good storage, Shastra's knowledge, Krishna's love, Krishna's thinking about Krishna only, keep Krishna in our mind all the time. I'm not saying that we have to leave our work. We have to do our work. We have to do the materialistic activities to maintain our living and our family's living. So all these things are necessary. But like Bhishma Dev is going to explain to Yudhishthira Maharaj that he has to rule the kingdom. Arjun had to fight the war, which was killing the people, but doing for Krishna. Keep Krishna in the center all the time. And that way, we will have a good impression. We will have all the good impression in our mind, because whatever we are thinking, we will be thinking what Krishna tells us to do, or whatever we are doing, it is for Krishna. And if we are in the difficult situation, we can think what Shastra would have told us to do this time. Let's read. And then definitely you will get some answer. If you don't, there are devotees, senior devotees who are there to help us as well. And that's why Guru Maharaj says association is so important of the senior devotees. So if we have senior devotees around us, if we follow their instructions, if we follow the Shastras, if we keep Krishna in the mind and do our activities, that's all we have to do. That's simple. That's what Prabhupada said. Do this and you will go back to Godhead. May not be in this birth, but eventually, definitely we will achieve our success. I hope this answers your question, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, so beautifully explained. Yeah, I have questions from Rishabha Das. Prabhuji, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah.
Haribo.
Haribol.
Haribo, you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hare Krishna, dear. Humble obeisances. First, I would like to just say how much I cherish listening from the God family. I feel humbled a lot, knowing how exalted devotees we have, and get inspired by, Shastric, or all the Shastric, well-versed devotees we have in our God family. So thank you very much for this this presentation, and I think that you already answered the this aspect of always thinking of Krishna, and what actually it means in practice, because like how many times we actually remember Krishna during the day, how much we remember so many other nonsense things, how much we think, and how much in our mind is constantly pursuing us that these nonsense things are really important nonsense things, and that we should take we should take it into consideration really seriously. They are important nonsense things, and then in the end, do how much we actually are able to think of Krishna. There is like one we were just studying in Srimad Bhagavatam, the 3rd canto, 9th chapter, where Brahma is praying to the Lord for empowerment to make to create the world. And it's really interesting, the prayer that Brahma is actually telling that he wants 3 things from him. Like he's constantly praying for him for 3 things. One is to be empowered to do the duty that he needs to do. The second is not to be materially contaminated when we are doing that duty. And the third one is actually similar to the second one, not to get proud or thinking that we are the doer, why doing this duty. So while having constantly this meditation, thinking that the moment we stop thinking about this, we are going to fall into the trap of bodily platform, trap of speaking with others and get contaminated by them, by karmis and their way of thinking, me and mine. Then when we are constantly able to train our mind to our little secret of success is always to pray like this. Others are having, their own tricks of success. Our success is constantly thinking and praying to be empowered and not be contaminated. And what happens is exactly what you said, Sukhavaha. You said, dear mother, that we are going to calm the mind. And this mind, which is full of impression of the media telling us what is important, it's calms down, and you actually clearly see what really is important, and many other things we are doing which is totally nonsense and totally not important, not needed. And then we manage to calm ourselves down. So yeah, any comment on that? Maybe you can elaborate as well on that.
Mataji, you're on mute.
Sorry. So if I understand you correctly, so you want to mention that we have to stop ourselves in doing all the other activities which are not Krishna conscious, and how to do that. Is it something you want to talk about?
No, just to kind of how to put this, like, how to put this always thinking of Krishna.
Yeah.
Put it in such a way that it's not like, oh, I'm thinking of Krishna, and then, somebody asked me something and I was like, oh yeah, sorry, what you asked? And then for in the next 2 hours, I'm not thinking of Krishna. But the practical way of how to think of Krishna is really good.
How to think of Krishna. Okay, fine. So the distractions basically is attraction to the other stuff. The other meaning of distraction is getting attracted to the other stuff. So if we are getting distracted from Krishna, that means we are getting attracted to the other materialistic stuff. So what we have to train our mind to is, like, if we know what is right and what is wrong at this stage now, because certain principles are taught to us by Guru Maharaj. And if we follow Guru Maharaj's instructions, we know that these things are right. I don't know about others, but recently I have been experiencing this, that when I'm not doing some Krishna conscious activities, apart from my work, which is necessary, and maintaining family like shopping and stuff, it does realizes me, and it does struck me that, okay, is this something what I was supposed to do at this stage? And then, that barrier, or that what you call thought comes in your mind. If you keep on thinking, and if you're chanting regularly, if you're following your Guru Maharaj's instructions regularly, that it gives you, Krishna gives you that spark in your brain that, oh, this is not the Krishna conscious activity what you are supposed to do. So we can bring our mind back into Krishna conscious. We will say, okay, fine, leave this situation, leave this particular place where we are not Krishna in the association of the devotees, or we are not doing any Krishna conscious activities. We are wasting our time basically. So go and do something else. So that thing comes when we are continuously chanting, because the mind gets purified eventually, then the materialistic thoughts comes in our mind. I'm not saying it won't come in your mind, because we are in the material world. So many things are thrown to us from the media, from the outside when we go, from the people who are not Krishna conscious. So we can't avoid that. But Krishna helps us to think that this is not necessary. Is this necessary? Then do that what is necessary and get out of that particular situation, and start doing something which is important for you, or to do which will help you to build your spiritual consciousness, spiritual knowledge, or think about Krishna. So, Guru Maharaj tells us, keep chanting the whole day through. After finishing going around also, your mind should be chanting. So that way you can, that will help us to get out of that situation. If it helps, Prabhuji, Rishabh Prabhu, does it help?
Great points. And now the $1 million question. I don't know about you guys, but how do you chant all day? How do you chant the whole day?
The thing is, I know what, whenever I am not doing anything else, my mind starts chanting, basically. That is a practice, which is we have to do. Make sure that our mind keeps chanting all the time. So while we are talking, while we are discussing, of course, we are not chanting, but we are talking about Krishna at the moment. So we are in the thought of Krishna. And if we are always in the Krishna's thoughts, then what else is there? We think, where is Krishna? The mind thinks, where is Krishna? And Krishna is in the form of Mahamantra. And that makes us think, oh, let's chant, and Krishna will be with us. Or sometimes, when I'm going to work, I've got free time traveling. What to do? I don't have nobody. I don't want anyone else's company. Chant. Simple. I don't have the beads, but my mind is chanting. I'm in the company of Krishna. And if you enjoy someone's company, you want more and more. It's like your good friend, if you are alone, who do you want to go with? Somebody who you enjoy your company with. And if you train your mind that who's our best friend, who's our well-wisher apart from Krishna, no one else. And that way, your mind will start chanting more and more and more. Sometimes I do miss out, but I try my level best. I train my brain that way, and it is helping. So that's what I can say. But somebody else can have different experiences. If you want to share, by all means, please do that. And that will help us as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji. So just a follow-up on that. I see devotees raise their hand, but I just want to have follow-up. So, and you said continuous chanting means like it's on mind, not like on beats.
No.
Yeah. So sometimes like you're so much distracted, you don't get that mood, to chant, So you might want to just read something, Is that like, because chanting sometimes, you don't be in that mood, like, you might, it's like, so it's okay to like read a book or something, right? So that also helps, right?
Anything it gives you association of Krishna, like Krishna said Bhagavatam is himself, is Krishna himself. So anything, if you are distressed, you want to, so mainly chanting, while you're doing something else, like cooking. What are you doing when you cook? Your mind is free, isn't it? And if you don't chant, or if you don't listen to the class while cooking, it will wander around. And best way to stop wandering our mind is to engage mind in some activities, because mind is very active, does not want to stay without any activities. So if we don't give mind some activity, some work to do, the mind will wander around and do something else, and which will not help us, which will get entangled us into some materialistic activities. So that way, to bring the mind back, chanting is best. But if you have time to read, of course, reading is best. Even preaching, why not people coming forward to preach? Because when we want to preach, we have to read. And that helps us. When we help others, Krishna helps us more. Sometimes I'm surprised what I'm telling you. I don't even thought about it before. I don't know why I'm telling these things to you. It's just Krishna inspires us saying stuff. It's not my thoughts, it's Krishna doing it. So that way Krishna helps us. Krishna is always ready to help us. It's only we are not asking for the help. And that's what we have to train our mind, that ask for the help and Krishna is there. Krishna will help.
Beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much, inspiring us to chant more and more. Thank you. And I like the point, like, Vrishabhadas Prabhuji mentioned the last point, always like keeping that, you're not the doer, like, it also,
exactly.
like,
Yeah, we are not the doer. As I said, I'm not saying these things. It's Krishna who's telling these things. He's the inspiration. He's the one. And if we keep Krishna in the mind and doing stuff, that means we are always aware that we are not the doer. We know that. Like Bhishma Pitama knew everything is Krishna's plan. We are just an actor acting in the play directed by Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, very true. Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, Prabhuji, for your enlightening points too. Yeah. And we have Devanand Pandit Prabhuji. Go ahead. I'll come back later to Raj Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Gurudeva, all glories to the assembled devotees. Mataji Sukhavaha, the story of your nephew who achieved significant success through his efforts reminded me of a story told me by a woman who was very successful in the material sense. She said to me that when she gave birth to her daughter, the newborn was on the verge of life and death. And then that woman turned to God with these words: "This is not your child, this is my child, and you have no right to take it away." And her daughter survived. The last time I spoke with that woman was 4 years ago, and at that time she was the most confident person in her abilities. don't you think that overconfidence in one's own abilities and the exclusion of the God factor can cause a very painful fall?
Yes, so we are human beings. In Bhagavad Gita, we have learned that we have got so many limitations. We are not God. As a human being, we cannot do everything what we want. So if we are overconfident and if we think we can do everything, that's actually the wrong thinking, and the distress which will come when we can't perform the activities what we have set, the goals what we have set, is tremendous. And the depression, I've seen so many people. I work with the GP, and I've seen people depressed so much because they think that they can't do the activities what they are supposed to. So if that's why in Krishna consciousness it says that everything is Krishna, so just offer everything, all the results of your activities to Krishna, perform the activities for Krishna, will not cause any distress to us, Lord. Depression won't be there because we know this is Krishna's plan. It's not us. So if failure comes also, we are able to accept it as a Krishna's plan. So if does it help, Prabhuji? Does it help you with your answer? That it's not good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, Raj
Thank you,
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
your hand raised. You still have a question?
Hare Krishna. Actually, I was enjoying all of Sukhavaha Mataji's instructions and advice and her flow of nectar and her mercy, and I didn't want to interrupt. But I have a question. Yes, thank you. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to all of the Vaishnavas. Thank you first of all, thank you for the amazing talk. It was a wonderful subject matter, and you delivered it brilliantly and gave such immense instructions, knowledge, wisdom, mercy. It just kept flowing. It was beautiful. There was lots of reminders that we constantly hear, and we need to constantly rehear and rehear that we must do this, we must do this, we must chant, we must do more, we must listen to act on Guru Maharaj's instructions, all these things that we must do, and that we're not doing enough of. And I think about, why are we not doing enough of them? And I can't help thinking that we're not doing enough of all of these things, and we're getting bothered by material energies and everything only because we don't fully appreciate how bad this material environment is. We don't fully appreciate the urgency of, we need to do it, and we need to do it now, and it takes top priority over everything else. And Krishna's the most important. So how do we get that? How do we get that understanding in our heads that this world is a really, really bad place? Worse, we think we're comfortable, but we're not really. Everything that we think we're comfortable could just go in an instant. How do we get that appreciation that we're in a really bad place, and Krishna's the most important, and he's everything, and we can just appreciate that and appreciate Guru Maharaj, because Guru Maharaj is such a wonderful source of energy and shakti and mercy and instruction, and every little instruction he gives us so much strength. So how can we appreciate all of these things and just kick ourselves into action?
So, your question reminds me of something which I was discussing with one of the senior devotees, how to understand the emergency, how to understand that the situation is not good. Because so many times we have been brought up, I don't know about anyone else, but in India, we have been brought up thinking that, to follow the religious and do all these religious activities is at the time of your when you get to retire, like, you know, when you are in vanaprasthaashram, not at the early age of your life. You should enjoy. This is the time to enjoy, do whatever you have to do, achieve your goals, this, that. But if you think that how much energy are we wasting in achieving the goals, at the end of the life, what are we going to achieve with all those materialistic efforts, what we are putting into it? You know what Guru Maharaj tells us, that you are putting so much of effort in the achieving the materialistic goals. But are we getting any happiness? Are we getting any satisfaction, permanent, eternal happiness? No. So, you know, we work hard. Sometimes we think that, oh, I need this Tesla. I need to work hard. I need to get that much money, get the Tesla. Okay, for a week or a month, we will enjoy that car. But afterwards, where is the joy? We will be so distressed sitting in that car only, thinking about so many other things. So if we stop, if we think that way, that, okay, this distress has come because our material desires causing this one. That's one point. Second point is, you know, have you seen military or a person, like, you know, the example I gave of my nephew doing the training is, did he achieve this gold medal in say weeks time by training? No. He was training since he was child, 5 years old. And he's 24 now. These many years effort gave him this gold medal. So if you want to do something, if you want to achieve something, at the end of the life, if you think that, oh yeah, when I got old, I'll pray to Krishna and Krishna will take me. Do you think your mind will be focused on Krishna that time? After all these materialistic activities, what you have done in your life, we can't even train our mind to focus right now. Forget at the time of the death, we will be so distressed. How can we focus on Krishna? The emergency is now. You know, Srila Prabhupada said, that will come tomorrow. Who knows? Bhishma Pitama, we are not Bhishma Pitama that we can leave our body when we need to, when we wish to. We don't know when the death is. Could be around the corner. And in Corona, we have seen past years how many people left the world. They didn't know. We don't know. So how can we not think that this is an emergency? Like, you know, as I mentioned about the military, that they train every single day thinking there could be the war tomorrow. And that's the discipline they have. And that's why they're successful in winning the war and fighting against the enemies. They can't be liberal. So how can we are the Krishna warriors. How can we be liberal to ourselves? Why can't we train like in the disciplined manner? To then only anything, if you want to achieve in your life, you can only achieve the goal if you put your old effort, mind, body towards that particular goal. Otherwise, it's not possible. You can reach certain steps in your pathway, but then again you will get diverted to some other activities. So if you are on the road to go somewhere, Google is directing you to go there. But if you keep on taking the wrong turnings, you can't reach your destination, can you? So that's where we have to think that we have to follow the guidance and drive on the road which is said and prescribed to us, rather than just taking the diversions. Okay, Krishna is very merciful. If we take the diversion also, he helps us to bring it back. But it's our wish and will as well, because he does not, he follows our wish and will as well. So if we do not put effort towards the goal, achievement won't be there. Krishna will not give you achievement. We have to do that. If we think that way, that if it's not going to come just to us, like the fruit falls from the tree and we are there still holding hand and it'll fall on our hands, it's not going to happen. We have to work towards it. And it's a long way. We can't achieve it's not just the 10, not even 10 kilometers. We have to walk miles and miles on the path, spiritual path, to achieve the goal. And another thing is, if we think the bliss and achievement is the Golok Vrindavan, that another thing inspires us. That, while we are reading, when we read of Krishna's pastimes and being with Krishna and how merciful Krishna is and how blissful that life will be, like if we leave this material world, then that will help us to achieve the goal, because that's what he was telling, that my goal was to achieve that gold medal, and I will be so proud once I'll achieve the gold medal. I'll make my parents proud, and this and that. So the final goal keeps us on the path. That's what I feel. I hope that helps, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. But like when he had that gold medal, when he was a child, he must have had like a dream or a vision, like, I want the gold medal, like that burning desire. I want this, I want this, I want this. How do we get that burning desire to go home to Krishna? I want this, and nothing can stop me.
I know. The thing is, it is not there at the moment in us, Lord, because of our previous impression on our mind, which is so strong that it is not letting us focus on Krishna. But the only way we can do is if we keep chanting that materialistic things purifies, and living the life as prescribed by Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada will help us as well. And Krishna, when he sees, Krishna is like a parent. So when the child is listening to your instruction as a parent, that. When your daughter, when she listens to your instructions, whatever you tell her, and then if she's struggling, what will you do? Help her, right? Yes. Exactly, that's what happens. That when we are struggling, when we are Krishna's children. So if we are struggling, Krishna is very, very merciful. He loves all of us so much. He's there in the heart. He sees us. We are struggling. So if we ask for his mercy, if we, as Rishabh Prabhu said, if we keep praying that Krishna, please help, we are not that pure of a devotee, but you are the only one who can purify us, who can help us. Krishna will listen to us, and Krishna is the only one who can help us. Nobody else can help us to stay on the path and to follow the instructions exactly. He will reveal the knowledge. He will purify us eventually.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. That's so beautiful. I just feel like listening. So nice. Thank you. We have 2 questions, Mataji. You still have time? We have passed 1 hour.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So
if you're all right.
Yes, I'm okay. Scarlett Mataji, please go ahead.
I have, again, it comes to my mind again. You say chanting and reading is almost the same. Have I understand it right? That it's almost the same?
Yeah. The reason it's same in the way it's the devotional activities which is very dear to Krishna, because this is the way we are closer to Krishna and away from the materialistic activities. So, as I mentioned, that if you don't engage your mind in devotional activity, it is going to go wander around. So that's why while you are doing something else, instead of thinking anything else, you can do chanting. And if you have time, instead of going on the phone or checking what messages you've got. Okay, I'm not saying don't do that, because that is important as well, that you need to do it. But the whole day holding the phone, which we can see on the, if you see on the road, kids on the phone, like crossing the road, they don't even bother looking at the car, on the phone, looking at the messages. What message are you going to get? So that thing can be avoided, and that can be diverted into the reading. And reading Shastras helps us to guide in how to live our life, how to overcome the difficult situation which comes in our life, because we are in Kali Yuga. Loads of difficulties are there, and Krishna is aware about that. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna came as a hidden avatar of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to help us, because he knew that this Kali Yuga is not going to be easy on us, Lord. For human, the only life we get to achieve our goal is a human life. As Guru Maharaj explained, animals can't do anything. Trees, flowers, all these living entities can't achieve the goal of reaching Golok Vrindavan. The only way we can do is this human life. And that is this life, what we have got. So we have to make most of it. The aim of the human life is to follow Krishna consciousness and go back to Godhead. That's it, nothing else. No material enjoyment should be thought about in this human life, basically. I know it is difficult. It's not easy. I can't do that as well. I do get distracted and get attracted to the other stuff as well. But we all should be together, reminding each other that what is the goal of life? Why are we doing this? We should be doing this. And that's where the devotee association helps us. When you have any questions, you can ask anyone and get the help. If you are in the certain situation and you need some help, you can always shout, and the devotees are there to help each other. So the devotee community, which we can get, is such a great help to keep us on the right track, and help us as well, basically. So yeah, does it help, Mataji?
Yes, so reading, I read very much. I read so much that I forget the time. But then it's so late, like it's 11 at night. And then I think, oh my God, I have not done my 16th round. Then I get worried because the 16th round, I'm not managing. I have only 1 hour for a day to be ended. You know what I mean? And I know I'm not going to manage 16 round. What happened then?
Okay. So what time do you get up in the morning?
I am in such a pain. So I'm awake all the time, you can say, only 2 hours maybe at the time I sleep. So my day can start already with 4, 5. But as I told you, I am very much interested to read. You don't believe. Look, this is my chatter. See you? I have my Srimad Bhagavatam here. See? All of my Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitam, all those. And not only that, I have Nectar of Devotion, Chaitanya's teaching. And I go to all of them, I read, because there is a quote from the other book, and then I go and open, and I just read. I can just get lost in reading all day long. Sometimes I remember, oh my God, I didn't eat anything today. And the time is 11 at night. And then I think, oh, I didn't eat. You know what I mean? I try now to start the day by chanting first and then read. But sometimes I think, okay, I have done 8 rounds. 8 rounds I do later, because I'm so much into, it was something I read last night. I must look at it. You know what I mean? So I go to reading again and then I forget. So I just wonder, is it the same still? Because I'm reading the Shastras, not the other books.
No, Mataji. The 16 prescribed rounds should be done, because that Mahamantra chanting purifies your heart. Because what happens is, when you chant and listen, the mantras goes in your heart, and that way it purifies your heart. Reading will not do that.
Wow.
And purification of heart is most important thing which needs to be done. Shastras are the guides. You should read them, but you should make a timetable. You should put the alarm saying that, okay, fine. If you're tired doing 8 rounds, your mind wandering, okay, fine. Give it a break. Start again. But there should be some cutoff time of reading, so that, you should put alarm, time for chanting. So then you can stop it, start chanting, and then finish your round that way. but 16 rounds is a must. Guru Maharaj, if you ask Guru Maharaj, they said 32 rounds.
Before I did more than 30 rounds, but it was because when I walk 10 kilometers, I needed to walk because of my body. I have rheumatism, so and I don't take any medicine. So I walk because I walk with walker, you know, and both my hand has to be on walker because I can't walk without it. Then I had this, and I chant and I count with this. Almost 60 rounds. Sometimes I could chant with it all the way while I'm walking. But after that, His Holiness say, no, you shouldn't count the one which you're walking. You shouldn't count. Then I thought, oh my God, okay. Then I have to be sitting. So from that time, it almost. It has happened. I have almost made it, but it has happened sometime that I manage 12 rounds and the rest I do next day. Is it right?
No.
You should have to do the same day.
16 rounds should be done in a day, definitely. Every day you should have that practice, that your mind should be stayed that no, okay, fine. If you have not done that 2 rounds or 3 rounds or whatever is left over, make sure you should not let your mind rest until and unless you finish those rounds. Then only the mind will be active and tell you to do that.
About the time, it's not that I want to go sleep. It's not that. I just think because it has passed 12 at night, then it's not counts like.
No, that's too late to count. No, that's too late to count the rounds. No, it should be done in the morning time only.
Exactly.
So anytime, like, you know, if you can't sleep in the night time, 4 o'clock wake up, do your chanting from 4 to 6. That's what I do. My chanting is from 5 to 7. Once chanting finish, I'm like, you know, I'm so relieved that at least I think that's the time you're spending with Krishna, because the chanting, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That time Krishna is with you. How can you miss that time? You know, you've got appointment with Krishna, and you have to make sure that time is given to Krishna only, nobody else. He is the most important person in our life, isn't it? So how can we divert our mind from Krishna and go somewhere else? Do you remember?
What I thought is books or Krishna also. It's Krishna who's talking, right?
That's fine. Krishna is talking through the books. You can read it later on. But chanting is Krishna with you. When you read book, Krishna is not with you. His instructions are with you. Whereas while chanting, Krishna is with you. Okay. That's a big difference between his instruction and himself being with us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mataji, I'll move on to next question. Devana Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Mataji Sukhavaha, answering the Raj Prabhu's question, you said that one thing keeps you on the path. What the sin I misunderstood?
Sorry, I didn't get what you said, Prabhuji.
You said to Raj Prabhu that one thing keeps you on the path. What the sin?
Okay, so the things that keeps you on the path is discipline.
You personally, you.
Oh, so for me, yeah. So yes. Frankly speaking, you know, if you analyze your life, your achievements and the materialistic achievement and spiritual achievement, if you really want to see what I did it in my life is, I compared what material achievement I got it and how much spiritual achievement I've received. So when I put those things, I realized that my spiritual achievements were not as much as my material achievements. And after understanding that this is the only human life I've got it, and if I can't achieve my spiritual goals, what's the point of me being a human being? So that kick inside thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I wasting my time here? What is this? Is any of these things going to help me when I leave this body? This is all till my body is here. Once I leave this body, it's not going to be with me, is it? Everything is going to stay here. The only thing which will come with me is my spiritual progress. And Krishna said that whatever progress you do in this life, it will stay with you throughout whenever you take new birth. And you can start from there. So one thing is there, which my understanding is that if you have been following 4 regulative principles, you're doing chanting 16 rounds every time as per Guru Maharaj's and Srila Prabhupada's instructions, chances of us having birth as a human being is very, very likely. And also we will be born in the devotee family, so that from the very beginning we can start our devotional activities and start progressing in the spiritual path. So that way, at least we are not lost and we can progress further up in our spiritual achievement of the goal. So those things, if you think about your life, you think what you want in your life. Do you want just the materialistic goals? If you are happy with it, has it given you all the happiness and things in your life? Are you content? You don't have any problems? You think you are fine? Then that's fine. That's your thinking. You can continue on that path. But we have seen that walking on the material path, nobody is eternally happy. The eternal happiness lies when we go back to Godhead. And that's what our soul's happiness is. The soul will only come up to control the intelligence and the mind once the heart and mind is purified and working towards Krishna consciousness. And the happiness of soul, like, when we, are you chanting 16 round, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel if you don't chant 16 rounds?
Bad. I feel bad.
That
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah. When we chant 16 rounds, we feel happiness all the time, right? So that's the thing, that when you do the spiritual activities, like whatever is there, we feel so much bliss and happiness. Like that we do not feel when we achieve any materialistic activities so continuously. Imagine every day we are chanting 16 rounds and every day we feel that much bliss and that much happiness. Whereas if you don't, then we feel bad, sad. It feels something is missing because we are not connected to Krishna. So that's the main thing, that happiness. If you want continuous that happiness to be in association of Krishna, why not? Why not work? We are working materialistic hard like nobody's business. How much hard work we put it into the effort to just get the salary at the end of the month. Imagine. So why not we put that effort towards the spiritual goals and get something which is eternally blissful and happy?
Have you ever seen the one who achieved this goal?
Sorry?
Have you ever seen the person who achieved this spiritual goal?
Srila Prabhupada.
Have you ever seen personally?
Yeah.
You?
But I haven't spoken to him, but yeah, Srila Prabhupada is the one who has achieved the goal, and I've seen him. I didn't get a chance to speak to him. That's unfortunate of me. But yeah, apart from that, Guru Maharaj is there. All the Maharajas, they are on the path of achieving their final goal. They are so blissful. They are so merciful. They can, their pureness. If you are in association of them only, makes you feel so happy. The pure devotees, the influence is so much that only being there with them makes us so happy. And that's what actually we get the mercy from them, basically, and makes us a little bit more on our path.
Thank you for enthusiasm. It's very useful for me.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a wonderful class. I'm very happy that you came and you are giving such a wonderful association. Thank you for the nice instructions also, reminders. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you very much. We look forward to your more classes, Mataji. Thank you. I have to leave now. Sorry, I'm in a rush a little bit.
That's fine.
Today is Radhashtami. Happy Radhashtami to all of you.
Yeah, happy Radhashtami to everyone. Yeah, it's Rath Yatra tomorrow for us, Lord, as well, you know.
Yeah.
So
You
nice.
must be so busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you, Revati Mataji. If you have time, I think you can please go ahead. I want to leave. Please. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much for this beautiful class. Being conscious of time, is
I
it
know.
okay for questions tomorrow? Like, if it's okay, Prabhuji and Mataji, Devanand Prabhuji, and Scarlet Mataji, is it okay if we can save the questions for tomorrow, or you want to?
It's okay.
Okay.
I can save it for now.
Yeah, so Mataji, it's okay for you. Yeah, just
Yeah, actually, I have to go somewhere as well. Thank you.
okay, thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much again for this beautiful class and enlightening on this powerful topic. We will look forward to your association more and more in the future. And thank you all devotees for your beautiful association. Vancha kalpa tarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyo patitana
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Srila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
All the Vaishnavas ki jai. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Mataji.
you for listening and bearing me.
No, it was so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you again. Hare Krishna. I
Thank you
love
for this
the
class,
class.
Mataji.